years and still talking. This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, see that? It's a Ramble. See that? It's Alex, and we're here until midnight Eastern Daylight Time from the East Coast of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, I got my cup of coffee, and I got my Stephen Pearl. Hello, Stephen.
Hello.
How are you?
To tell the truth, whether old or in youth, because you must tell the truth every day. And if you don't tell the truth, you suck. To tell the truth, I'm a Bud Collier bow tie guy.
Yeah.
I always liked that song, and I thought it needed words, so I just added words to the old To Tell the Truth song.
My wife Ronnie was on To Tell the Truth.
Oh, really?
Yes, she knew the person who was one of the producers of the show. And she played a fake nude dancer from Calcutta.
Oh. Was that the original To Tell the Truth with Bud Collier?
I think this was Bud Collier, if I'm not mistaken. You know, or could it have been who did the second version?
Bert Convy. He had a hand.
No, it wasn't Bert Convy. I think it was
Larry Blythe. I don't know.
Yeah. Excuse me, my eyes are still tearing today, folks.
That mace is strong stuff.
God, I've got allergies up the yin yang. Anyway,
Hey.
so what show? Which show was it? To Tell the Truth that David Feldman's father produced?
Did he? I have no idea.
He produced one. He worked for Goodson Todman, and he
Really?
did.
Mark Goodson?
He did Family Feud. He
Okay.
produced Family Feud. And I'm trying to. I bet you can't sing the Family Feud theme song. Yeah, I mean it's impossible. It's not a. I mean, To Tell the Truth, it was a song.
Tell the truth. To tell the.
Yeah.
It's a cheer.
Yeah, I used to have a lot of those, by the way. Here, in fact, there's an album they put out of all the jingles from the game shows.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, all the TV shows.
Yeah, all the game shows. Yeah. And of course, the most famous one, I guess, is The Price is Right. That's the one everybody remembers.
I remember that one.
Yeah. So you're in Nevada.
Yes.
You're in Las Vegas.
Lost the wages. You walk into
the only way you come out of Las Vegas alive is by stepping into the propeller before you go to Nevada.
DC-3, it takes to get the money.
Are there other Las Vegas jokes beside that one, or is that the only Las Vegas joke?
They went to the Hard Rock Cafe to play the Jimi Hendrix slot machine. I got two Stratocasters and an ambulance. I lost.
Oh man! So you were looking forward to getting back to work, right?
Yeah. And I already 2 weeks ago I had a gig. It was like one of those drive-in comedy gigs. Except for people hunking on the punchlines, it was a lot of fun.
I think when you told me that, I thought that was wonderful.
It was great. People had a good time, and some good comics up there. We had a really good time, so I'd like to do more of those.
So you could. Was it harder to base your timing? Because comedians base their timing a lot on what they're hearing from the audience,
Sure.
right? Did you have to alter your sense of timing on that?
I felt like I was in a Dali painting, just like instead of getting laughs, you're getting like headlights showing, blinked at you and honk, honk, honk. So, and some of them, are a little overzealous and they honk on the punchlines or right before them. So you just got to make do. Okay, thank you. But they were cool.
And where did they place you? Did they place you in front of the screen or up on top of the snack bar?
It was like a driving thing, but it wasn't a theater. It was, I don't know what it was. It was like some kind of.
Oh, I see.
And,
okay, so
it was like a big warehouse or something. So we were against the big warehouse.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it wasn't really a drive-in theater that you were doing it in, but it was a drive-in comedy show where it was like in a parking lot somewhere.
Yeah, it's a little. Tonight's adult features on Golden Shower and It's a Wonderful Life will not be seen tonight. By Henry Fondle and Catherine Rugburn.
Yeah. So
did the jokes, and we had a good time. Honk, honk, ooga, there's a lot of that. But
so now? You know, comedians are always looking for material from their surroundings, right?
yeah,
You know, that's why so many. That's why so many comedians, for instance, are always telling jokes about airplanes because they're on airplanes so
on
much.
airplanes all the time.
Right. Do you have any coronavirus jokes?
Let's see. I got some of the riot jokes. Do you have any coronavirus jokes? Oh yeah, I did a thing. What kind of virus is this? What is that? Makes it hard to breathe. We better get all the toilet paper we can. Hey, there's another virus out, and that gives you a bad headache. We better buy all the socks we can. You know, what's wrong? And they say, you know, look, there's no toilet paper. You got to make do. You know, use an ice cream scooper. You know, if they go that bad, use a melon ball scooper. You know, you got to use it. You can't. Oh, the store's out of syrup for your pancakes. You got any NyQuil? You know, you can make do. So I'm a guy with.
Now you said you had riot jokes.
We had some riot. Yeah, we had the protesters and some rioting here.
Now, how do you do that and be in good taste?
Oh, well, you just go like, hey, if you loot the 99-cent store, does that count as a misdemeanor? I don't know. So, you know. Today, the 99-cent store was looted and burned to the ground today. Over $42 worth of damage. Manager swears we will rebuild. You got to stay topical, kid, if you want to work.
Yeah,
You're an old man like me.
Yeah. So, I guess, but now you have nowhere to say those jokes.
Nowhere to go. Just here in a couple of.
And once the COVID is over with, and you go back to work. The jokes will not be relevant any longer.
Well, they will for a little while, but not for a long time. You know, we'll go back to what we were
doing.
What
I was always talking about is people always say, why do they always come out with such sick jokes during times of tragedy? You know, I mean, it wasn't 2 days after the Kennedy assassination that there was a joke about it. You know.
Yeah, sure. I think the day of the assassination, Lenny Bruce went on stage and went, "Whoa, Von Meter, man."
Yeah. People don't remember that Von Meter did an impression of Kennedy and had a hit album called The First Family.
Yeah, that was it.
Produced by an old friend of mine, Earl Dowd, and written by him. And it's probably still to this day stands as the biggest selling comedy album of all time. Yeah. But Von Meter made his entire career on being Kennedy, and when he got shot, goodbye.
That's it. Yeah, see you later.
And so Lenny Bruce was on stage that night with a Von Meter joke.
Yeah, he opened. Wow, Von Meter, man.
Well, you know, I mean, what was it? Was it Lenny that said it? That time plus tragedy plus time equals comedy.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a.
And that I've often said that people like you have managed to cut that amount of time down.
Yes.
You know, I mean, but. You know, the question is, yes, bad taste. Bad taste is inevitable.
Yep, if they can make it funny, sure, yeah.
Exactly. So,
darn kids.
Yeah. So the question is, how long? Number one, should you wait? Okay, and secondly, if you're going to wait, how severe can the jokes be? For instance, I was really kind of like, you know, a good example that I had was I didn't find anything funny about AIDS. Okay. What happened was I suddenly, and I remember, you probably remember me doing it. I put an edict out to all the comics.
Oh, yeah. No AIDS jokes.
There's no AIDS jokes because I just saw somebody on TV dying of AIDS, and there's nothing funny about AIDS. And you really can't joke about it because it's not funny.
Yeah.
And then somebody came along, and they had a joke about AIDS. And I said, that one you can tell.
Okay.
Now, folks, you're saying, what kind of joke about AIDS could you tell? Because the thing I found terrible about the AIDS jokes is most of them were gay jokes. You know, so you were making fun of it because gays were getting it, not because, you know. So he said, here's the joke. And I thought it was hilarious. He said, what's the worst thing about getting AIDS?
I don't know that one.
Having to tell your parents you're Haitian.
Okay, I can see that. That one gets the pass. That one gets a pass.
Yeah. And what was it? Well, the only thing it did was put down Haitians, and that's fine with me.
Who cares?
You know.
They ain't gonna hear it. Too.
But you know, I mean, do you ever censor yourself?
Oh yeah, but I don't really think of stuff
I mean,
that sick that it would piss so many people off.
I mean,
so,
you see something like the Black Lives Matter thing, and you
Yeah.
probably have come up with some jokes in your mind that you've probably said, "I'm not going to tell that one."
Yeah, probably a couple, but
Yeah.
no, I really haven't thought of joking around that line. So I find it's pretty crazy what's going on out there. So no, I haven't had any jokes about that.
Would you? Does it kill you that we are living in the kind of times where your ability to create material is huge? There's so much stuff happening. I mean, it must be hell to be a political comic right now and have no place to do your comedy.
I know. I mean, it would suck because there's so much going on in that that subject every day.
Yeah.
Something being said or happens.
I mean, the only thing good about the coronavirus is it's kept the political comics at bay. They don't have an outlet.
Yep.
And the political comics would probably be the ones going after Trump. So Trump's actually getting a pass.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know, political comics, when you take either side, you're like risking on getting your ass kicked or getting booed by half the room.
Yeah.
It's pretty delicate these days, like, in the Nixon days with Vietnam and everything.
Yeah.
But, I'm not that political really these days. I'm from the old left, which is not to be confused with the new left, who I don't get what they're up to at all. So.
Well, the trouble with the new left is they're too politically correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
no sense of humor. No sense of humor.
Yeah, they don't have a sense of humor. They go to a comedy show and they go, "Oh, that's in bad taste." Well, wait a minute. He's a comedian. He's on stage. He's supposed to be in bad taste. That's his job.
I know. I find lately right-wingers laugh a lot more than super left-wingers.
I can't say that I've really, in doing this show, ever cared about political correctness.
No, I'm from the old. I marched against the Vietnam War and against the draft and against Nixon, and they're all gone, and we got our way, and I really don't have anything to protest anymore. So good luck to you.
Yeah, I mean, you would have stuff to protest today. I would be out there with the Black Lives Matter people protesting if I were younger. But at my age, number one, I don't want to get into crowds that aren't wearing masks. And even if they are wearing masks, I don't want to be in that close proximity to them. So my life is at stake, okay? Yeah. Secondly, I said years ago when I was out marching and so on, I said, this is a job for young people.
Exactly.
Because they've got the stamina, the energy, and so on to do it. I said, but it is not the job of an older person. They should stay home, let us do it. I hope they did it when they were younger. I did it a lot when I was younger. So I don't feel guilty about not going out there now. I see them.
I can't march for miles anyway like I used to.
I see these kids today marching down through our neighborhood, Black Lives Matter, all of that, and wishing that I could go down there and be with them. But I can't. I don't have the stamina to walk a couple of blocks in one of those marches, and I don't want to get infected. If they get infected, well,
they're mighty. They're young. They're strong.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sitting here with what seems to be a pollen problem because of the burning eyes and the nose dripping, and I don't have a cough. I don't have a temperature, so it's not the COVID. But I mean, just a pollen situation completely knocks me out. You know. So I mean, I imagine me trying to march.
Yeah.
So I figure it's not my job; it's their job.
Yeah,
I did my job. I did my job.
Anymore.
I can't tell you how many times I marched against the war in Vietnam and for gay rights and all kinds of things, you know. And now I figure it's their turn. Okay.
Yeah, my legs are shot, Booby. It's your turn. You march.
Exactly.
I'll wave as you go by. But
I got a bad back. I can't march. Okay.
Too much.
Screw you. But I mean that's as it should be. I mean, but also I hope that here's what I've mentioned yesterday to Kravitz. I was saying that I live in a predominantly black neighborhood, so the people I'm going to see in this neighborhood, maybe 3/4 of them are black, and I noticed how many black people weren't wearing masks. And then I thought about, you better not wear a mask and have a Black Lives Matter T-shirt on, because by your action of not wearing the mask, you may be killing another black person in your family.
Brothers and sisters, man. Don't
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. So if Black Lives Matter, it not only applies to cops with a chokehold, it also applies to you not wearing a mask and spreading your disease to your grandmother.
Mr. and Mrs. Maskless Liberal, you put your mask on.
Look at me, I'm Louis Armstrong. Anyway, hey, listen. Guess what? We're done already. We've done already. Want to do another one next week?
Okay, sure. Well, yeah, next week is good. I can't do 2 weeks from now, but I can do next week.
Okay. Well, you're not going to do next week. You're going to do it in about 5 minutes from right now, because we're going to do. That's right. Let's try that again. You want to be here next week?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Another black T-shirt just like this. I think I'm going to wear.
Stephen Pearl, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Stephen.
5 years and still talking. This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, how are you? Welcome back. Thank you so much, Stephen Pearl, and my eyes are itching. Oh, God. Will this never stop? Will this never stop? Oh, boy. And look at the bags under my eyes. My wife said she was going to pay to get rid of those for me. I don't know. Wouldn't it be terrible if I suddenly had my face fixed and then I died about a month later? At this age, that could happen. Hey, look, folks, guess what I got? See this? See the light on both hands. I got my, Elgato sent me my replacement for the key light that went out. See, and when I talk about key lights, folks, just so you know what I'm talking about. For instance, turn this one off. Hey, man, turn that one off. See what happens? See, one side of my face is gone. Turn that one off, and look at what we got. We got nothing. Boy, isn't that terrible? But then you do this, and it's like, it's worth paying for the high-def camera that I have, the 4K camera that I have. Let me take first the waiting room off, turn the waiting room off, and admit Howard, who is, there we go, there's Howard. Let me see here. Let me also then do a little, are you there, Howard? Yeah, let me see here. Let me do a little transition, and there's Howard. Oh, wait a minute, I got it. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong, wait a minute. I got to get this one. Okay, hold on a second. I still got the one with Stephen Pearl on there. Anyway, hi. How you doing there, Howard?
I'm doing wonderful.
Yeah. Let me just do something here. Let me get to my Zoom panel. Okay, there we go. See, I have two different Zoom things, one for the interview that I do and one for the other. And here comes Charlie, and here comes Phil. I don't have to do anything anymore. I could just leave the room, and you guys could just talk to each other.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey.
Yeah. If you reach up into the corner, Charlie, up into to your right upper corner, okay, and then you reach down into your lower left corner, I think, Howard, you could high five him. Wait a minute, the other side. No, there, down in the corner. Down in the corner. There we go. There we go. They're high fiving each other. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. Nobody wants to high five you, Phil, so don't, Yeah, he's over there. Huh?
I'm pointing, but I got to point the other way. There we go.
You're pointing the right way. Yeah. Charlie, you can point towards him if you want to. Yeah. Hello, Rob. Hello, Bree. Bree's joining us.
The other way.
And look, I do this. It's all hands-free. How do you like my light back? Don't I look better?
Hello, Rob. Hello, Bree. Bree's joining us.
Yeah, but he doesn't turn his audio down, Bree.
How do you like my light back? Don't I look better? Hello, Rob. Hello, Bree. Bree's joining us.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Sorry about that.
Wait a minute. No, that's somebody else. I think that's somebody else that we're getting it from.
Sorry about that.
Who are we getting it from?
Yeah, I thought I was muted.
No, you weren't muted. You were muted. Okay.
That was me.
Oh, it was you.
I was doing some voice tracking earlier, and I forgot that the audition channel has to be off when I.
I see.
That was me. Oh, but it's still there. I just heard that was me again.
Yeah.
It's gone now.
Oh, okay. All right.
I need to know if I'm too hot on my mic.
Yeah, you're too hot on your mic. You are.
Since I have the audio professionals here who can tell me.
Yeah.
You're much louder than everybody else.
Oh, okay. Then I need to adjust that.
Yeah.
Okay. How about now?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
That sounds all right. I'll let you know if it's bad.
Okay. I got my mic here.
Yeah, but what mic kind of mic is that?
This is a Sennheiser MKH 80P48.
Why does everybody, like, for instance, you don't have a screen in front of your microphone, do you, Rob?
No.
I don't use one in mine. And who are the only two radio people here?
I used to when I used this.
I never use it. I never cared. I never don't puff. I got a thing here, covering.
When I
it.
used this mic, I used to have one.
Yeah. Is that a Neumann?
No, this is a cheapo Samsung.
Yeah, $4,000 for one of those.
Yeah, Neumann.
This Sennheiser is quite expensive.
That's the one that's like super directional.
Yeah, you can.
Like news reporters would use so that they hold, you don't get anything from the sides.
Yeah, Brian Neary is. Oh, there we go.
Well, and it's super sensitive. So, and it's condenser. So this isn't even the standard windscreen. This is actually from another.
It sounds a little
thing.
tinny though, doesn't it, guys?
Yeah, there's
Really?
no low end.
You
There's
need
no
to
bass.
gear it in.
No bass on
Oh.
yours.
I can adjust that, I think, but if you can deal with it.
Yeah, turn it down just a little bit more though. It's a little loud still.
It can't be
Yeah.
any
It's too
more
loud?
sensitive. It can't be any more sensitive
Okay.
than me. I'm taking hormones.
I've got two other mics I can try, but
Yeah,
maybe too loud.
but if you can
Clear, it
turn
just
your mic
doesn't
down just a little
have any
bit
low
more,
end.
or back off from it, maybe that would be
okay. I
good.
turned it down again.
Perfect.
I guess it's okay. You can back off a little bit too. Back off of the mic.
Okay, yeah, because it is a condenser studio mic.
Yeah. I don't know why you guys go out and get all these great mics. I'm just using a little crappy AKG here that I just happen to like the way it makes.
AKG is not crappy.
Well, it's only, how much did it cost me? About $150, something like that.
You got a deal because I think they're a lot more than that.
Well, I had one that I used with Play TV, and I then started using it when we did the original TV show here from the studio, and I liked the mic and the way I sounded on it so much, I bought another one, bought more up-to-date one than that one, because that was like 20 years old. And I just like the way it makes my voice sound, but I've never used a windscreen. I've never, I know guys like Howard Stern who spend their life getting all their voice compressed and the deep bass brought out. You know what I'm talking about, Rob?
Yep.
You know what he does.
Yeah, I have a processor
Yeah.
on this mic.
Yeah, but he's over-processed. And I never ever processed my voice. I didn't care. This is my voice, okay? It's fine.
You want to know something? I just looked up the price on this puppy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
$449.
What, on the one you're using?
Microphones are not
Yeah.
cheap.
You didn't buy it?
Yeah.
You didn't buy it?
Stole it.
I didn't pay this for it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's
No,
the
well, how much
official
they say-
Sennheiser site,
How much do they
and
say
that's
that?
like brand new.
How much they say that mic is worth?
$4,300.
And how
Not
much did you
US
pay for
dollars.
it?
Yeah, I'll show it to you right now.
A Neumann doesn't cost that much.
That I know. That's why I think it's ludicrous.
You know what an Neumann
This
is?
is
It's an
uncommon.
annoying human.
This is the link, Rob. You can check it out.
$400 and something mic. That if it's the Sennheiser.
You know, I'm going to start cutting out people being able to chat back and forth to each other because it comes up on my screen and it's annoying.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Hello, Brian, and hello to Jeff. And Jeff Stein's there. He's our good friend Jeff. And
Wilberforce. Wilberforce.
yeah. What I also like about Zoom is that I don't have to remember your names anymore because your name is there all the time.
Wilbur.
Huh?
That's if you put them in there.
Yeah.
Good, I can remember my own name too.
You can
Yeah,
remember.
we have Thursday and Friday off. Bizarre enough, I don't know why they gave us 2 holidays, but I'm not turning that down.
Thursday and Friday off? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
4th of July.
Maybe I should take it off. I don't know.
My old position though, the person who has my old position, they're working all weekend.
What was your old position? Prone with your butt up in the air? What was your old position?
I was the director of manufacturing. So I was the top person for all of the manufacturing lines for Sunnyvale. So when just before COVID hit, I got the promotion over to the projects. And then, so this new position, his office is right next to mine.
Does this new position pay more than the old position? Oh, okay. I'm not going to ask how much.
And I have weekends off and all the good stuff. So.
Yeah.
And you
I was
know,
attached to my phone.
You're making
Brian
a fortune.
makes the most money of all of us, and he doesn't even have a mic.
I have. And
That's
no camera
right.
Tonight. I'm
That's
on my
right.
laptop at work.
That's right.
But my kid has the microphone and.
Yeah.
That's the one we never
All
see.
his stuff away.
We had a long chat tonight. He got his stuff back.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, don't let him play The Last of Us.
I think I've seen that preview on one other. He goes downstairs and watches some of the videos and how they use the guns and all this stuff. I think I saw that.
Well, it's extra violent, okay, but it also, let's see, there's some girl-on-girl action.
Oh, yeah. What was that one called again?
Kind of girl-on-girl action, and they actually break into a synagogue, and it turns out one of these lesbians is Jewish, so she gives a lecture on Judaism to this other girl.
With her vagina?
Yes, I mean it's really and also they smoke pot in the game. Yeah, so if you don't mind your kid being exposed to that, it's not going to ruin his life. Let me put it that way. No. But it's a good adventure game, and my hand is killing me now
from playing the game.
Hours and hours of this, you know.
Oh, okay, whatever.
You know, and I'm only doing it in light mode.
It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah. Is this one better?
Warmer.
Yeah, we're not here testing microphones today.
I mean, come on, Alex. That's the only chance.
I mean, you know, this is a show where we discuss stuff, not how your mic sounds.
Well, why are you playing games? How about that?
Well, I'm talking about.
You got so much time.
Well, because I'm the host and I get to pick the topics.
Hey, Bree, I like the second mic better.
You like this one better?
Yeah, this one's much better. Yeah.
Okay.
Makes your voice sound much nicer.
Yeah, it is a $3,000 microphone at Adorama. That other one. That's an expensive mic.
This one, I don't know what it is. I think it's a Sennheiser 421.
I'll tell you what. The reason that doesn't sound as good as that one does is that one needs to be processed. That must be. I've never heard of that mic, but
this is a U441 that I'm on right now, which I think was standard at radio in Asia for many, many years. And yeah, I got it from I got all these mics from a music store in Indonesia.
Did you loot?
Huh?
Were you looting?
No.
During the riots?
I think, yeah, 2 of them I got in Indonesia. 1 I got in Thailand, I think. And, you know, I just look for good deals. If I can see them, I pick them up. And I used to be able to recognize all the brands and the names. Now I'm not so good with it, but I think it's good. I think it's better than the laptop mic.
Gee, our audience is dwindling now.
I have one other one, which is E845S.
Yeah, this is really interesting.
Sorry,
we lost like 10 people watching this. We started talking about microphones.
He's got 3 mics and they have none.
Don't worry, I've got 17 devices here. I can start logging in and bring our numbers way up.
Oh, okay. Well, but we'll know you're faking it, and so it won't mean anything to me. Today I was interviewing Pearl. In the middle of it, I almost passed out. I was so lightheaded. I didn't have breakfast.
I was just going to ask you, have you changed your diet or your
I don't know, but I just was, and it's funny when I get to the evening to do the show, I start feeling better. You know, my breathing, everything gets better. And I don't know if I'm just not don't have a bad case of the blues. You know, just being in constantly. You know, but then I want to go out, and tomorrow it's only going to be 90 degrees here. Yeah, like I want to go out in that.
I've been working down in the patio all week long. I haven't been in my office at all. It's been beautiful here.
Really?
Sitting out back, beautiful.
Smoking a cigar.
Working, smoking a cigar, relaxing, enjoying the beautiful.
And then I got itchy eyes, so I've been using this stuff. It's called Allergy Eye Relief. And it only relieves your eyes for about 5 minutes, and then you're back to itching again. But you only put 1 drop in, and it's fine. Now, isn't this more interesting than talking microphones? Anyway, let me see here. Where are we? God, we are, you know, this country is in such a goddamn mess right now. Is there anything good, any good news?
Alex, you think that the U.S. is a mess?
Now you can turn that mic up.
What?
Now you can turn your mic up or get closer. Just get closer to it.
I can turn it up.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I have a friend in Beirut, and I was chatting with him last night. Their currency is devalued by like 80%, and he's still being asked to pay rent in U.S. dollars, but you can't get U.S. dollars. Apparently, the previous leaders took all the money and put it in Switzerland, and the COVID-19 is hitting there. And it's like the whole country is set to collapse, you know. So I don't know. I count my blessings.
Collapsed 25 years ago.
Well, you can make that argument.
What'd you say?
Lebanon.
No, not really. I mean, you know,
it used to be. I had friends that lived there. They said it was magnificent. You know, it was kind of like with Abu Dhabi. Where was it you used to live? Capri?
Dubai.
They said it was, you know, it would have been the equivalent of like a Dubai, but 30 years ago. And
the Paris of the Levant.
Yeah. And now, or 30 years ago, it just got destroyed. And
there was a war there.
It's like Damascus.
Yeah, there was a war there, Phil.
Where?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a war there. Usually places look like a disaster when there's been a war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there was a war there, and it went from being a beautiful place to being a dreary desert.
Well, you know, I mean, this country used to be a beautiful place, and now it's a shithole.
It still is.
A shithole, yes.
No,
absolutely.
Beautiful. Just got to go below 112th Street.
I see. It's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. How come we're probably the most hated country in the world right now?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad thing is that we were on the right trajectory. You know, everything was starting to come down, and we were set. And then, you know, everybody's screwed.
You know,
up
I mean,
again.
look. I'm gonna. Let me for a moment say something on Trump's behalf, and that is, this COVID thing wasn't of his making. Okay, but solving the problem and the situation we're in now is of his making. His complete non-caring about this, trying to not admit that this problem even existed for a long time, caused 100,000 lives. Okay, that needlessly, if somebody were in there who just grabbed the reins of this thing the minute it happened and started steering the country in the right direction and had that kind of ability, we wouldn't have as many people dead. We wouldn't have as many cases out there.
Anybody up for anybody?
So I feel sorry for him that he got caught in the middle of this, but I don't feel sorry for him because he didn't do anything about it. Yes, Howard.
I was just going to say Hawaii is a good example. We have had less than 1,000 cases.
Yeah.
In the entire state.
But you took the bull by the horns, right?
Yeah, they shut it down. I mean, a lot of people lost jobs, but
yeah.
What did they do, Howard? Did they close the bridge that goes from the states to the islands, and just make you fly over?
Have you ever driven from California to Hawaii?
No, I think he's talking about.
Well, he can do it because he owns a snorkel. He owns a scuba gear, so he could do it.
And there are no bridges between islands either, so you have to fly in.
Well, then they didn't have to close down the island to traffic to keep the cases of COVID out of there, huh?
Well,
They did-
yeah.
Basically.
You wanted to say something, Rob?
I was going to say, is everybody up for a big party in South Dakota for 4th of July?
Nope.
Hey, I'm going to run around without a mask on the 4th and
Woohoo!
cough and sneeze.
Is South Dakota clean?
Better bring your asbestos suit.
That's where Trump's going to be.
Oh, is he? Oh, is that his
no
next?
social? And I saw the governor of South Dakota on television today saying, if you want to come, we're not going to social distance. You can wear a mask if you want, but we're going to have a party.
Oh boy.
Where's that?
Oh, boy.
Is he a Democrat or Republican?
Oh,
She's Republican.
What do you think?
She's an idiot, of course. What she is.
Idiot, yeah.
I mean, even Trump is starting to say wear a mask. He finally today said, well, you know, if you're in a situation where you think you need the mask, it wouldn't be a bad idea to wear one.
But he should be like Cuomo and say everybody must wear a mask. He still can't be light like that.
No, he has not taken, as I said earlier, the bull by the horns. He has not grasped this problem. First of all, you have to admit there is one, and for the longest time, he wouldn't admit there was a problem. Oh, it's going to disappear in a couple of months. The warm weather will get here. It'll be gone.
He said today that it's going to go away.
Did you forget what Trump said in 2002 or 2003? He grasps things quite well.
In 2003, what does that have to do with right now?
He said he grabs him by the pussy.
Oh, okay.
He grasps him so well.
Yeah, that's what he can grasp, is pussy. But you know, I mean, he denied the existence of this thing for so long and did nothing about it, and now we are the most infected country in the world. In the world. And if I were president of the United States with this going on, I wouldn't feel I'd done a very good job. Would you, Charlie? You were going to say something.
Yeah, we set another record for new cases.
In Texas.
New cases.
Yeah. What, in the United States or in Texas?
In the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost 70,000.
Really, in one day?
In one day.
What?
Well, that's only because we're testing. If we weren't testing, there wouldn't be any people with the COVID. Right.
Well,
Yeah, they're
Fauci said
maxing
we're
out.
going to hit 100,000 per day soon
Yeah.
if we don't do
They're
that.
maxing out the hot-
I don't know what's filling up all those hospitals, but you know.
Texas is already having to do the death panels because they're 100% full in the hospital. So they got to make decisions on who's going to get treated and who's not.
Didn't they bring a ship into Galveston? One of those
They need the ships again.
hospital ships.
At this point, do we not agree? It's going to run rampant. Pretty much, everybody, 70-80% are going to be exposed to this. It's just a matter of time.
Well, our governor today went on the air and he said, "I got bad news for you." He said, "We're not going to reopen the restaurants for indoor eating."
Good.
He said the reason being that he said, number one, we don't know if the restaurant people will abide by the rules that we're going to put in place. And secondly, we're worried about the people coming in from out of state who, when they come to New York, want to go to a restaurant. And those people are infected. He said
Broadway is shut down. They said till what, 2021?
Yeah,
and
till
they're
next
saying
year.
They never come back.
Yeah.
But in California, at least in Contra Costa County, they were going to open up today, and now they've had another directive. I think it's going to be another 3 weeks at least until gyms and people that do personal service like tattoo parlors.
Can I say this? Gavin Newsom has done a crappy job. He's done a real crappy job. Because, I mean, he had the situation in hand, and then he let it just go boom. He didn't use the science and didn't test with the science to decide when to open up, how to open up. Everybody was pressuring every governor in this country about, oh, let's reopen, let's get the economy going. Well, the economy's great if there are people who aren't dead. But if you're killing people in service of the economy, we've got a little bit of soul searching to do in this country.
What I heard today was it was younger people that were getting the virus, and that the younger people had a higher survival rate.
That's bullshit, Phil.
Than
They
older.
are now finding out. They're finding out now that's not true.
And
It
if
just
you-
came out today. They found out that old assumptions, every time we have an old assumption, it seems to go by the wayside. And one of the old assumptions was that young people don't get it. They're getting it now. They're getting terribly ill, and they are in those ICUs. Okay,
Right, but they're not dying.
Did you
at
see
the same? Their death rate is not.
They
the
have a
same.
little more stamina, but they're still dying.
Spreading it.
Did you see that like Mr. Universe guy? Did you see the pictures
Arnold
of him?
Schwarzenegger?
No. There's this guy who competed. He was muscle bound. I mean, they had pictures before and after. He got corona. He wound up. They had to put him in a coma for weeks, 3 weeks or something like that. He looks like a different person. He lost all of his muscle tone.
No steroids.
He struggled big time. And he said, I am still far from, and this is a young guy.
Was he
still
in
far from health
natural-
at this point.
Was he a natural bodybuilder, or
He
did
lost his
use-
ability to swallow.
don't know,
He
Phil.
lost his ability to walk.
Yeah.
He had to learn all of this all over again from coronavirus. So let's just give it to everybody. Herd immunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Then
we may have herd
remdesivir.
immunity, whether we
I
like
think
it or
everybody's going.
Well, wait a minute. Brian brought up remdesivir.
Remdesivir, I think they said that the emergency case only that they give all the freebies out. Now they're going to start charging, like, I don't know when, next week or something. It's like $1,000 or $3,000, $1,000 for treatment. Then probably, you remember what they said? How much they would need a treatment? They kept saying, they say some numbers, but thousands of dollars for them.
Yeah.
To,
And our insurance company is going to pay for
Pay
it.
for it?
No, I don't
And the
think
US
there's
is
some
hoarding
question.
that.
Huh? What'd you say, Bree?
The U.S. is hoarding remdesivir.
Oh,
Well,
really?
They're not. Yes.
I heard that zinc.
Phil, don't start. Phil, stop.
Wait a minute.
Stop, Phil.
Drink turmeric
Stop.
tea.
Stop.
I used
Stop,
to-
Phil. You do not give out medical advice on this program.
medical advice.
You don't give. You don't. Well, no. I'm sorry. I don't want
heard
somebody
the
to
news.
think that they're going to prevent getting
nothing
COVID
wrong
because they
with
take zinc.
Well, there's something in the lungs. It starts with an S. I forgot what it is.
Stuff.
Soloclines, something like that.
Where'd
And
you
they-
hear this bullshit?
It was some medical thing I was listening to.
Yeah, I'm where.
It could have been that health channel.
The health
Mute
channel.
him.
I don't
Mute
know.
What
him.
health
Medical
channel?
content by Phil on the
Mute him.
GABNet network is
Yeah.
created
2,000
online for informational
2,300
purposes
Look it up.
only.
Hey,
It is
Bree,
not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice.
when
and
you're
should
not
be
doing
relied on
a
as
PSA,
professional advice.
use
I'm
your
just running the
PhD.
disclaimer.
Hey, use your PhD to look it up about zinc and
Phil, zinc has
what it does with the
is
lungs.
very good at killing a cold. Okay, and it's good
Yeah.
at killing a cold for a very simple reason that that the stuff that causes colds goes into your nostrils, and once it gets into your nostrils, it then gets into your system. If you take zinc, it has a hard time adhering to the mucous membrane, but that's as close as it gets, Phil.
no, there's
If you
something
choose to
wrong.
rely on any information provided by Phil,
Yeah, you
solely
take a
at your
gun to
own
your head and shoot yourself first because it's better
off the
than
building.
listening to his medical
So-
advice.
So yeah, for the vials, they say $2,300 for government and then $3,100 for U.S. insurance companies.
Yeah.
For a dose?
Yeah, for a
zinc
dose.
And $1
Yeah, and then
million
there was-
dollars if you don't have insurance.
And what
they
about?
were
Wait,
saying
let me
how
ask.
many
Let me
doses
ask
you
you a
need.
question about the dosing. Is it one dose and then that's it for remdesivir, or is it?
Yeah, they're not saying here, but what I was listening to, they were talking about how many doses you would need per week, and then you need that for a couple of weeks to get.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
It-
so again, the poor will suffer.
yeah, they're jacking up the price.
Yeah, I don't feel as bad for our tests. Our tests aren't that expensive.
Bill, I don't want any bogus medical
oh,
advice
no bogus.
put
This
on.
is
no.
UC.
I
Health
don't give
Today.
it. I don't give a shit, Phil.
UC Health.
I don't want
mute
this
him.
on my program. Do you
Mute him.
understand that?
All right.
You can mute them.
We ran the disclaimer.
You know, I mean, the thing is, folks, if you're interested in finding out about zinc and COVID, you can find it on the internet. But don't listen to. I
Health.
don't like medical
.org.
advice to be given on my show by people who are not doctors.
How do you know?
I saw a guy with a
I'm the rug doctor.
sign at one of those right-wing protests, and it said that vitamin C cures COVID.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, our governor, for instance, today said that when they're going to let the VMA awards take place at the Barclays Center, and what the Barclays Center is going to do is they are going to put in very fine HEPA filters that work against the can filter out the coronavirus pretty fast, but they don't. But he also said today, but don't take that as an answer. He said it is just a thought that maybe that will work and that will help.
Why do they feel they need to do the VMA awards?
I don't know, because Beyonce needs to show off her jewelry. I don't know. I have no idea. It doesn't make sense
just
to me.
The awards, but not a crowd, right? They're not going to.
No, they're going to have an audience. I mean, they got to have the performers and the people who are accepting their awards there.
Yes.
You know, I'm sorry, but singers and these people make millions of dollars. Baseball, basketball, all these stars, these are risks in their occupation. And because they're not going to be able to make as much money as they used to, this is the risk that they took to go in the occupation.
Yeah.
But for VMA awards, it's ridiculous.
But that's fine, but then they're going to leave there and they're going to interface with people when they go to the drive-in or the drive-through, or you know what I mean? Wherever they
millions, yeah, they're not going to make millions in those big concerts that they used to.
Yeah.
I still am waiting for reports out of Tulsa. You know, did anybody going to Trump's rally have COVID-19 or catch it or
Is it 2 weeks yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't gotten any reports yet.
Not a week, I think. Wasn't it a week ago
this
Saturday?
weekend will be 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, what we'll find out is that if nobody caught it going to Trump's rally, it's because stupid people are immune.
Or no one was
Handing
there.
out zinc.
Nobody was there.
Maybe
How long are you
nobody
going to keep up
shows
with this zinc thing, Phil?
As long as it takes.
Jeez almighty.
Well,
People can look this up if they want to. I just don't want it to be passed across on this program as solid information coming from a questionable source, which is you.
Keep you know, you just got to do all the things you do to try to keep healthy. I mean, you eat right, you diet, exercise. It's all that. But I mean, how many times you hear in a report that somebody met all those criteria, or you know, seemingly, and yet they still passed? How far in are we? And we still don't know very much about COVID-19 or coronavirus. It manifests itself. Sometimes it's asymptomatic, and in other cases it manifests itself in odd ways. I mean, my best friend has it, and his son in Houston, and you know, one day they're okay, and the next they're not feeling great, and it's crazy. It's so unpredictable.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, I just think that the problem we have here with the whole coronavirus thing is every day we learn new pieces of information that one day we did not think were true. Like we said, young people don't get it. Well, now that a lot of young people are being infected by it, we're learning that young people do get it, and that they do get it to, in varying degrees, everything from light to death. Okay? And that just because you're young doesn't mean you're not going to get it. And by the way, you really want to get it? Even if it's lighter than usual? People who describe even a light version of this thing describe a rather horrible condition. They say it feels like you have glass shards in your lungs. You know? I mean, this is a horrible, horrible disease. And the worst part about it is, okay, so you're young, you don't care, you know, you can go out and party. It's not going to get me. Yeah, but it's going to get grandma. Okay, it's going to get people around you. And have a little more caring for the people around you. That would be very nice, you know? So, anyway. Where are you going? Oh, Bree, he's going, where are you going, Shanghai?
Phil left too.
Oui.
Yeah.
Him and Phil are going to go talk.
I think there's a meeting in the boys' room.
Yeah, him and Phil.
I mean, here in New York, we've done a very good job of closing everything down and then turning this curve around. I mean, Jeff knows what we've done in this state. It's been nothing
Absolutely.
short of amazing.
Yes.
You know, and when you compare it to the rest of the country, we're down here. We were the hot spot of the nation with just incredible amount, 800 deaths a day, and that's like diminished down to, I think we had yesterday, it went up a bit. We had 11 dead. We had 5 earlier this week. We have an average of about 8 dead a day. Okay, and that's almost nothing at all. Okay, I mean, it's sad, but it's almost nothing at all. But we managed to take this curve and we managed to this mountain and bend it literally and just bring it down. And we're not about ready to make any mistakes right now. And our governor is a little mad at the young people in the state of New York, because he says there are places in Manhattan where kids are going out, they go to a bar, they buy a drink, and then they congregate outside the bar. He said, this kind of behavior has to stop, and who's got to stop it are the local police. And
police?
Phil, I knew you were going to say that. They've still got police here in New York.
Yeah,
the police.
They're not going to respond to anything except a report. If I was a cop,
well, then
now,
fuck them. Fire every last one of them, and let's get some
I
people
wouldn't
who are
run
willing
after
to do the
anybody.
job.
I wouldn't take anybody into custody. I wouldn't.
Okay, well then you're not a public servant, Phil. We've established that.
Well, neither are the thousands that are continuing to carry the badge right now, and those that can retire are. And you'll see, already the murder rate in New York is up 50% this year.
Yeah, well, everybody would like to kill de Blasio. That's the reason why.
Of course, especially Trump for him writing that Black Lives Matter out in front of his
I mean,
building.
if Rob, if you had to go to someplace else that was the safest place in America, where would you go right now?
Hawaii.
I don't know. I'm pretty safe where we.
Where you are, yeah.
341 cases in my county.
Since the beginning.
That's it.
Yeah.
In the county since the beginning.
Yeah.
I feel pretty damn safe where I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but
San
I
Quentin?
still don't go out and just,
right. You don't
play
tempt,
around.
You don't tempt fate.
No.
And San Quentin Prison has a major outbreak of COVID, and they're talking about letting prisoners out.
I think that's a good idea. I think our prisons are too full.
Yeah, well,
I don't know. I don't know
will
that
murder
I buy
somebody
that.
else.
Well, it doesn't
I don't
mean
know.
that.
See, that's the one thing I disagree with Cuomo on, is I was just letting prisoners out because it's crowded. I mean, come on.
No,
There's
they're not
prisoners
letting.
for- if they're-
But they're not
if it's-
letting just any prisoners out. They're letting
They're
prisoners
letting
out.
murderers out, from what I'm
And
told.
rapists.
Yes.
Rapists.
No, what
They
I've been
are.
told. What
He
I've been
is.
told, it's non-violent offenders.
Well, you've been told wrong.
That's the one thing I don't agree with.
Well, I haven't heard of any. I live here in New York, and I haven't heard about him. He never has mentioned wholesale letting out of people in the prisons.
Not wholesale.
There has been talk about, in most states, of letting non-violent prisoners, non-violent offenders go, because there are
I don't
far
think
too
they
many
should.
people. Shut up a second, Phil. Let me talk. There are far too many people in prisons for crimes which really.
Marijuana.
Marijuana, a
That
good
shouldn't
example.
be. You shouldn't be in prison for
Didn't
marijuana.
they
Right,
let,
but there are a lot of people, who are in prison for nonviolent offenses, and they should be doing some kind of public service or
I
something
thought
like that. Yeah.
Michael Cohen was released, Trump's previous attorney.
Yeah,
Oh, I think he's got to stay at home though.
he's got to stay at home.
Yeah. He's got
Check
one
out
of
this.
those-
Check
those
out this
great-
picture.
Same with
What's that?
what's his
This
face?
guy.
Oh, is this the guy before and
That's
after?
the bodybuilder.
Yeah, that's the bodybuilder.
Which is the
the
before
writing
and
on his is in the way. Let me see if there's a picture. Yeah. Well, no, there's not.
You kind of see that he's lost some serious weight.
well,
He has a pot belly now. I mean, it's
So do I.
unbelievable.
well, he needs to get back in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking of,
crazy.
yeah.
People, the young people in New York, in Singapore, we got word like a day or two ago that a bunch of Britons they got takeout alcohol from a bar, and they were out, drinking on the steps in front of it, and they were banned, deported, I guess, and they were fined $9,000 each.
Good. That's what we should be doing. I mean, it is the job of the local police to enforce social distancing. And it's not a hard thing to enforce because you just drive down the street and you see people who aren't social distancing. Like I'm saying, where are the cops with all these fireworks? They can't find them? I mean, they're shooting them off from roofs. You can see where the roofs are. You can hear where the sound's coming from.
Victimless crimes.
They're
not going to do. They're not going to go after them.
Wait a minute. That is not doing social distancing in this day and age. Not wearing a mask in this day and age is not a nonviolent crime.
That's the new red hat. The "Make America Great Again" hat. If somebody's wearing those, people go after them. If somebody's not wearing their mask, people go after them. It's becoming a...
What do you mean they go after them? You go down to these bars down in Soho, and these kids are standing out on the street, not social distancing, without masks, drinking. So
Yes.
what are you saying, that the new social norm is to have to wear a mask?
Yes.
It
but
should
what's
be. It should be the law. The president should sign an executive order saying
if you
that
get
everyone,
Biden, that's what
when
you'll
they're
get.
in public or not in social distance from somebody else, have to wear a mask.
Well, okay, so the guy says I was 6 feet away or 10 feet away, and he walked towards me.
I saw a woman the other day who said on TV, "It's my constitutional right not to wear a mask."
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where in the Constitution does it say you have the right to wear a mask? Bear arms we argue about, but the amendment about wearing a mask I don't think exists.
It's the 30th Amendment.
If they get in the car and then go and drive, we arrest them.
What do you
We
mean?
throw the
Right.
book at them, because their actions can harm someone else. So if one of them has COVID-19 and coughs all over everyone, what's the difference?
Now, Jeff, are you still at home or where are you now?
No, I'm in Massachusetts.
Okay, how is it up there right now?
Well, I'm at Cape Cod.
Yeah, I know,
And-
but
And I got to tell you, everybody here has got a mask on. Anybody walking around, everybody's pretty cautious about everything around here.
that's amazing. Yeah.
And, that's what's going on.
And Cape Cod is an area where you could probably pretty easily keep social distance, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
But still, people are wearing the masks and making sure that they don't
Absolutely.
infect
Everybody's
each other.
cautious about that kind of
Is it
stuff.
an older population up there?
No, not now.
Oh, okay.
It's becoming younger and younger all the time.
And the young people are wearing masks too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
I saw a video today of Manhattan in the 50th and 5th and that area, and all the stores were boarded up. It looked like a war zone there. Were there riots over there that actually happened? Because the news media isn't showing it, but this video did.
Well, a lot of those places are boarded up because they're just boarded up because they're not open, right? And they just don't want any hanky-panky to go on, and they're trying to protect their property from...
Like the Breitling watch store was hit, and they cleaned it out. The Rolex store, there was a whole bunch of stores.
Yeah, well, I mean, that
high-end
happened. That
stores.
happened. But, blame de Blasio. He didn't have the police out there to stop it.
The only store that I saw that didn't get hit was the Gucci store, and that was in Trump Tower. So they must have had some good protection, huh?
I also heard that
I'll get to you in a second, John.
synagogues are closed at their facility, but they're doing all the stuff on internet.
Yeah. Yes, John.
Yeah, San Francisco, they've been cleaning up all the tent cities all around the Tenderloin and, taking them all down and putting the people in hotel rooms and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they only get 18 months, and they have to be supposedly back in the hotel room by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
they're not in, they get kicked out. But I can't believe that. Well, why would they do that if they're just going to put them back on the street? So.
You know what I wanted to try and figure out, and I can't really figure it out. This in Seattle, that whole street thing that's been going on, where they blocked off the streets and everything. Well, they went in today, the cops, and cleaned them all out and said, "That's it, the party's over." The only thing I couldn't figure out in all of that, I mean, I'd be sympathetic with them, except I don't know what they were there for.
Yeah, really.
You know, of all places, Seattle. You know, it's not exactly racist city, USA.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't really get it. So.
They had in in Oakland, they had taken over the plaza out in front of the what do you call it? It was like a Wall Street the thing, the 1% and so forth. I went there one morning and took pictures before everybody woke up, and a lot of the people that were there were homeless, and they said that a lot of the people that were in this chop took advantage of being able to camp in the park and be homeless because they didn't let people stay in the park, until they put up the autonomous zone. So that might have been a big group of them.
Yeah, well, I have no idea what they were protesting about. And tell me what you're protesting about. And I'll probably be sympathetic towards it, but I didn't see any value in them closing down those streets.
It was Black Lives Matter.
I don't know that it was Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seemed to be all over the place,
I think you got 10.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Now you got 10.
Okay, and let me see here. How do I get rid of this guy?
Salamat. Mahaban.
Free Palestine.
Assalamu alaikum.
Free hot dogs.
Assalamu alaikum.
Free Palestine.
Free hamburgers.
Okay, I got rid of him, and let me just make sure that nobody else gets in here.
No, that was interesting, Alex.
That was interesting. I see. Free. Well, I mean,
it was a full house.
If he would have just stopped and he would have talked to us.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested in that.
Well, he's not getting back in now because I put up the.
That's a discussion I'm fully able to engage with.
I would love to discuss that. But unfortunately, that probably wasn't his intention. His intention was to Zoom bomb us.
He didn't raise his hand.
I don't even know if he was listening because he didn't understand Arabic.
He doesn't know the rules. Come on.
Yeah.
You hear that in San Quentin? San Quentin, they let some inmates from Chino in, and they transferred some Chino inmates, and I don't know how many of those inmates had COVID, and it spread like wildfire. So they have all these tents now out in the baseball field of San Quentin. Now they're all in panic mode. They have like over 1,000 people.
We have had a problem over the years, and I know Phil's going to disagree with this, of, I think, stocking our prison with way too many people. What are social problems, drug problems, any number of problems, it's been used as a repository for those problems, those prisons, and it's been used as a repository. It's been used as a repository, basically, for people of race.
You don't go to San Quentin and Folsom and prisons like that,
unless you're Johnny.
Unless I'll tell you why, Phil. Why I'll tell you why you go to those prisons.
Because you murder
because
somebody.
You can't afford a decent lawyer, and you have to have it handled by a what do you call it? A
public defender.
A public defender who falls asleep during the trial.
These are the most heinous criminals out there.
Phil, I know a guy who's on death row who had to have a lawyer appointed to him who fell asleep during the trial. Phil.
Hey,
was that the guy?
Sometimes life sucks, but most of these guys.
Yeah, life sucks. Life sucks.
They wind up there because they're murderers, they're rapers.
Everybody in San Quentin is a raper or a murderer or
just about.
Oh, I see. Just about. Can you guarantee me that, Phil?
I've gone to interviews there.
Oh, because I've known people who went to San Quentin who went there for marijuana.
They must have had a lot of marijuana.
Well, they went there because they didn't have a lawyer. They didn't have all the proper people to take care of it. You know, if you're rich and white, you would not go to San Quentin.
If
Phil,
multiple,
wake up and smell the coffee, okay?
Yeah, I'm smelling the coffee, and I'm telling you that you don't get there by being a nice guy. These guys are not nice.
Well, I mean,
and they've done some awful things. And a lot of times
at the generic level and the general level, then Phil has the argument. It's, you know, because it's when you start to look at particular cases and then those add up. So it depends on how you view it. But anyone who thinks that our prison system is perfect has another thing coming. It's definitely not. And so there's a gap there between we got to arrest all the criminals and lock them up, and we got to let everybody go free. You know.
Well, why do we?
I
think the question, Bree, is why do we lock them up? We say do we want to punish them, or do we want to rehabilitate?
Howard knows.
And yes,
Labor.
Howard. What?
Labor. Slave labor.
It's slave labor. Yeah. Yeah.
Think about it.
And they have the right color to be slaves. You know.
Well,
I mean, but more than that. It's just if we considered prisons rehabilitation, that'd be one thing. But we don't. We don't do any rehabilitation in prisons. We just stockpile them and poke them with a stick while they're in the cage, and when we let them out, they're really angry.
We do in some communities. It just depends on the battles you want to pick and how much time you got and whether or not you know something about the area.
We also give these extraordinarily long sentences. You know, there's no other country in the world that gives out sentences like that.
Well, what I always question is when you see somebody, you'll see two people get different sentences for wildly different things. You know, and it's like, how did that guy get 10 years for that? And that guy got 2 years for that, but that's worse. You know, and you see that a lot.
How about Brian? Brian's got his own.
I just started watching that program. Was it Patton Oswald's wife?
I thought that was really boring. Didn't you find that boring?
Yeah, I know, but for me, it's the whole thing about that and that guy. And he pleads guilty, and he just gets all these life sentences. I mean, when you think about it, you always say if you know that person did it and they admit that they did it and all that stuff, they should be gone, right? But then how did that guy live?
Well, I mean, the thing is that he's not living. They say, I think he's in ill health, and I think he hasn't got much longer, you know. But they just found him guilty so they could get him guilty, and that's it, you know. But
there was an American that recently went to Russia and went to visit his girlfriend or something, and he had a thumb drive. They said he was doing espionage, and they just sentenced him to 16 years hard labor. And according to his family and everyone else, this is just a...
How long do you think we give him here in this country?
What do you mean?
If we found somebody doing the same thing that was Russian, how long, or Islamic or whatever, how long do you think we'd put him away for?
Well, I probably would put him away for a long time. It's just that we wouldn't be putting him in hard labor breaking rocks.
Unless he gets a pardon.
Well, how about being stuck in solitary confinement every day for the rest of your life?
Well, that's what they're doing to Manafort.
Still too good. Oh.
Well, they're not doing that to Manafort. Manafort's not in solitary confinement.
They left Manafort out.
I don't think we had a Zoom bomber.
Yeah.
That guy wasn't a Zoom bomber. He's commenting on the YouTube chat. So.
Oh, is he really? Palestine again.
Yeah.
So, dude, just come in.
We'll make Israel Palestine again. Zim.
Palestine.
No, Itzhak Chab. There he is. Free Palestine.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm all for freeing Palestine, and if you hadn't been a shithead when you came on here and you wanted to actually talk about it, we'd love to hear you talk about it.
I feel that guy getting hard labor. That guy getting hard labor. Was he putting carpet down? Is that 15
Yeah,
years hard
yeah.
labor?
Hey, if Palestine is free, why do they have to send them all of this money?
Free of COVID-19.
Oh.
They're doing a better job than us.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is that, you know, we give incredibly large sentences to people that are not commensurate with what they did. You know, we don't believe in rehabilitation. Otherwise, we would say, hey, you're going to have to stay in prison till you're rehabilitated. And then we would go through a process of rehabilitation, but we don't even do that. You know, people, let's face it, most of the crimes these people have committed are antisocial acts, and they're antisocial because they've never learned how to live with. Put your hand down, Phil. Haven't learned how to live within a society. And so what we do is we put them in prison and we don't teach them how to live within that society, and they never learn, and they just are repeaters and repeaters and repeaters. If we're going to do something with our prisons, good, I'm all for them. Let's really do something to try and rehabilitate people and make them have faith in their fellow man and have faith in their community. But we don't. We just slam them in there and make them really angry, and if they're young, we teach them how to be bigger and better criminals than they were before they went in.
And no job when they come out, so then they're slammed in the outside world,
Yep.
and then they start getting back to their old habits.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's have a purpose for sending somebody to jail, not just, we're going to punish you.
They get an education when they go to jail.
Oh, no,
learn
they
how to take away cops' guns. They learn
there are
how to
different
do
jails,
kinds
too.
of crime. You know, the guy that
Some are
got
private.
killed. Hold it. The guy that got killed in the DUI stop in Atlanta. He was a felon, and he took away the taser from the other officer. That they practice that day in and day out, how to do gun takeaways. And that's what they practice. That's what they learn. That's their university, and that's what the guy did to the cop that shot him.
Cop
And
shot him in the back. He was running
he
away.
turned around. He
Taser
shot
gun.
at him.
Taser gun. Wasn't his gun.
What?
So it doesn't. That doesn't matter.
Don't argue with Phil. Don't try to make him understand, because he never
it
will.
doesn't matter.
He will
My
never. He
point is-
never will. He's got a cop mind, and that's the reason we're in trouble with the cops right now. Why we need a whole new police departments. Charlie, I noticed you nodded when I said
Alex,
that.
don't cut
Phil,
me off.
Yes, I'm cutting you off because I want to
No.
hear from Charlie.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
Charlie.
he was running away. He was no threat to the cops.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Phil.
Phil, I think what you're saying, I know what you're saying, but I don't think the training was, if you get in a wrestle with a guy and he runs away from you, I don't think the training was to
I'm not
shoot him.
talking about what the cop did. I'm talking about what the felon who was stopped for DUI learned in
He wasn't
prison.
stopped. He was already stopped. He was asleep
Charlie,
in his car.
I'm not interrupting you, am I?
Well, you are. He's
Give
hardly
him false
spoken all
information.
night, Phil. Let him say something.
Yeah. Well, he could say it when I stop.
But you never
what-
stop.
What my point was that the people in prison are in a university and they're learning how to be better criminals. And what this
Why
guy
shouldn't they
did,
be
he
learning
came-
how to be better people? And why don't we do something with compassion to try and do
can't-
that?
You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Phil.
They
Phil.
got
Privately
school,
owned.
They got all sorts of things. They could take a university.
Okay, but Phil,
programs,
they're all going to get out eventually, right?
Right.
Okay, and when they get out eventually, they're going to have all these skills that you're talking about, right?
Not all of them are going to get out. You know, there's, you got your, what's his name that was in, I think, Folsom with the swastika on his head.
Manson.
Manson. Yeah, he wasn't getting out.
He got out. He got out eventually.
Manson, yeah, he died. He got out. He got out feet first.
Are you gonna go to parole? Oh my God, it'd always be so funny.
But
I used to love covering those.
The whole idea, and my point was that they're in there learning how to be better criminals instead of learning to get their
Yeah,
GED.
we know that, Phil. But what I'm saying is, let's do something about that. Let's turn our prisons into reformatories. I mean, they were once called correctional facilities. That's what they're still called. and there's nothing we correct.
Some people can't be corrected.
Phil,
You get
that
this
is not an
MS-13
excuse.
stuff.
Some people can be, and we don't.
if they
And
wanna
those
be,
people
they
don't.
can be.
Oh, Phil,
Those that
Phil,
want to be
I can't.
can
I
be.
can't.
They offer. They offer all of this stuff.
Your cop mentality is so
It's
sickening.
not a cop mentality. It's a realistic.
It's a cop mentality, Phil.
Aren't
And,
those prisons like privately
pansy
owned
mentality.
also?
The private, yeah. How
Aren't
about
those prisons privately owned and they don't give a crap?
San Quentin's a state prison.
Yes, but there are a lot of for-profit prisons now.
Yeah,
Sure.
And
they want more prisoners, right?
I'm going
They
to
want
one
them to
this
go crazy.
weekend.
it's a
I'm going
business.
to a county prison.
Prison industrial complex.
Now I'm going
The
to
prison
I'm going to a
industrial
county-
complex. Yeah.
County jail this weekend. On
Only for
Sunday.
the weekend.
Nah, just Sunday.
Do you, have,
they
do, you
have
have a, do you have a big prison system there in Hawaii, Howard? You don't know,
You're
huh?
on mute.
You're on mute.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot at a detention facility
They send them to
on
California.
Sunday. They have a range,
Hmm. Okay.
Howard?
sheriff's range.
I was just gonna say I don't know. I've never been there before.
No, okay. Are there a couple of prisons or just one?
I think we only have one prison on Oahu. I think on Maui we just have a jail.
Yeah, there's 200,000 people in Maui County, right?
On our island, well, yeah, if you're counting the other islands.
No, Maui County.
On Maui, in Maui Island, there's only about 140, 150,000
Wow.
people. We also have Molokai and Lanai in our county.
Most of the crime that you guys have is drugs like crack and ice and that kind of stuff.
I think it's more domestic.
Domestic disputes too, yeah.
Domestic disputes. And then when we had tourists, if they left laptops or cameras in the back seat of their car and went to the beach, sometimes those things disappeared. That's
Yeah,
the
but
crime.
that's just a report. Nobody gets arrested.
Yeah, there's not a lot of crime here that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been to San Quentin on a couple of occasions, because I had either someone who was there, like the guy who's on death row, or when I was younger, my best friend, one of my best friends at the synagogue, believe it or not, kid, his father was the librarian, the librarian at San Quentin. And another friend of mine, gee, I think I remember his name, David Schmidt, Dr. Schmidt, was the prison psychiatrist at San Quentin. So I had a lot of ins at San Quentin and to be able to understand what goes on there. And it was, and it's funny, Marin County is maybe one of the most expensive bedroom communities in California.
Yeah.
And yet San Quentin is part of Marin County. And so, somebody could say when they got out of San Quentin, when somebody says, so where have you been for the last couple of years? Oh, I've been living over in Marin.
Are they going to turn it into condos?
Huh?
San Quentin condos?
Well, they were talking about closing it down.
Yeah.
It started as a prison ship. But, I mean, I just feel that we're too quick to punish people. And I don't know that punishment is the answer. If that's our motivation, I think we're doing it all wrong.
No, I feel by the time they get to San Quentin, they need some punishment.
People go to San Quentin because they don't have a good lawyer, Phil. It's not a certain kind of
No, it's because
person.
they kill 8 people and they leave their bodies on the side of the road, and it was.
Oh
only
yeah,
this
yeah.
one girl that
Find me
off.
5 of those people over there. That aren't on death row. Okay.
Alex, you had the guy who used to write you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Was he on the show before? Or he just wrote you all the time.
Dean, yeah, I think he called the show a couple of
called, like-
times. He
Yeah.
used to call me at home, and I would accept the
really?
calls. I would accept the calls.
Oh.
And when I was living in California, when I moved out here, it was kind of impossible to do it. But we used to talk like every other Saturday or so about things.
Yeah.
And
I would
I
get
never wanted to know what he did.
Yeah,
Because
I
the
remember
nature
that.
of my relationship with him was as Alex Bennett and this guy in San Quentin who got a hold of me and wanted to talk to me. And then my girlfriend said, "Oh, come on, let's go over to the library and take a look, see if we can find his name." Right? So we looked it up. His name is Dean Carter, and immediately an article in Red Book, "A Kiss from My Killer," because that's the kind of stuff they do for Red Book, and it's all about him. And he was accused of killing 5 women on a killing spree. It took place over 2 weeks. Traveled the state of California, so I guess he was a serial killer. And the next time he called, I didn't accept the call. I was so terrified because I didn't want to know.
He, a relative of Hurricane
Can I finish the story, Phil, please? Okay. And so finally, after a couple of weeks, I decided to take his call, and he said, "Hi." He says, "You haven't been home recently, or whatever?" And I said, "No, I've been home." I said, "I didn't take your calls because my girlfriend made me go to a library and look you up, and I found out what you did, and or what you were accused of doing." And he said, "Yeah, people are that way. A lot of people won't talk to me after they find that out." And I said, "Well, I'm not going to be one of those people. You know, I am better than that. My relationship to you is what we talk about and what we, you know, our interaction with each other." And I said, "But I was shocked to see what you did." But he said, "Well, you got to know I'm not here for traffic tickets." That was his line. But I learned a lot from him about what it's like to live under those conditions. He's a 6'7" guy.
Wow.
Living in a cell that's only 6 feet long. Okay, his feet hang out of the bars when he's asleep. Okay? And he's been living that life for over 20 years now.
Nobody told him to kill 8 people.
Well, nobody told him to kill 8 people. But on the other hand...
I thought the cells were 8 feet long and 6 feet wide.
Well,
I had female prisoners that would write me letters, and I don't know why I never kept them. Because I would play their requests, and then I now I wish I had them. I'd like to look back to see what they were saying.
He wrote columns for my webpage at the time called Dead Man Talking, which was all about what it was like to live on death row, and it was some incredible writing, you know. But
I was reading the Golden State Killer is in the news.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
You
don't have to put your hand up anymore, Phil.
Okay,
because people
prison.
talk.
Then you yell at me. A prison cell
because
is
you
6 feet by 8
monopolize
feet.
stuff. What?
It's 6 feet wide, 8 feet long.
Okay, but his feet almost stick out of the.
That's a standard cell.
Yeah, but the bed I think is smaller than that. You know, it's not. You know, okay, you're gonna kill the guy. Do you really have to make him feel dead already by entombing him? I mean, he's in that cell 23 hours a day. And then they let him go out for a little recreation. There's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. Even no matter what the guy did, you don't punish people to that extent.
How about if he did it to your wife or your daughter?
Well, you know what? I would probably testify at the trial and say, do not put him to death. Just keep him in jail for the rest of his life. Because if you put him to death, for the next 20 years, I'm going to have to put up with hearings and stays of execution and stuff like that. And quite frankly, I'd like to get over with it right now and get on with my life and know this guy is put away for the rest of his life.
Nobody gets killed in California anymore on death row.
Well, I know that.
Is there a death row?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How come?
And they're still under a death sentence, but they really haven't carried out the executions. So.
Yeah, I don't think since Governor Brown the first time. Oh, hey.
Oh, hello, cutest girl ever.
Everyone's waving at you.
But then again, I shouldn't say that because it's going to make your father have a rough time with you. So, boy, are you ugly.
Did he say you're ugly?
Oh, I didn't mean it. I was just kidding. Okay.
She's beautiful.
She's adorable.
Alex is blind, by the way. He's just...
I'm an old man.
Alex is in the middle. Alex is in the middle on our thing. Alex's name is Phil.
Oh, no, it's not.
Anyway, there goes the theme song, ladies and gentlemen. And what's her name again?
Adrian.
Adrian, come see us again, will you?
Adrian.
Okay. She doesn't know. I'm the one talking. See the one waving his hand? I'm the one talking.
The one with the big mouth.
Yeah. Anyway, Howard, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Phil, thank you for being with us. Charlie, always a pleasure having you here. Rob, you know we think the world of you. What is that? What are you doing? Oh, he hasn't got his earphones on now, so he can't hear us say goodbye. Bree, what were you? I don't know even what you're trying to tell me, Rob. Anyway,
Free
what?
Palestine.
I said I hear you when I turn off the mic.
Okay. All right. And Bree, thank you. Thank you, Brian, and your lovely daughter. Jeff, thank you. And, of course, Wilbur Force, that's his current name, for being with us tonight. Hey, everybody, why don't you give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give you a big wave goodbye as well. Okay, there we go, and there they go. That's our citizen panel for tonight. I know that I'm out of sync a lot on these discussions, but it doesn't really matter. The discussions have been so much better using Zoom that I'm not about ready to stop doing that. And I just wish I could find a way to keep from going out of sync. Anyway, blame the Zoom people. Anyway, we'll see you again tomorrow night, same time. By the way, Jack Bishop is next with The Intersection. I'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? And stay safe and wear a mask, okay? Bye.